Hey everyone, welcome back to Bipolar Uncovered. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm Brian Warren, and this is where I share my real life experiences of living with bipolar disorder 1. The good, the bad, and the middle too. The very honest middle. Today's episode is going to be a big one. We're going to be talking about what bipolar disorder actually feels like. Not just what you need, not just what you're going to find on a medical website. Not at all. I am not a doctor. I am not a therapist. I am not a psychoanalyst. I am none of those. I'm not a clinician. I'm just someone that has it. That's the best way to put it. I'm just someone that has bipolar disorder. I'm not going to try to figure out what's wrong by watching a movie or a TV show, but what it actually feels like from the inside. This is not Grey's Anatomy, okay? No offense to all the Grey's Anatomy fans. This is not a self-diagnosis with WebMD. It's 100% real on how I felt, when I felt it, inside during a mania and depression during this journey. My entire hope is that this helps others understand it better and maybe help someone out there that feels alone in it, or a family member trying to help a loved one with bipolar. So that's why we're here. Okay, so we're gonna get started here in a second. My experience with mania, it's kind of crazy. For me, mania can feel like just stepping on the gas pedal, going 300 miles an hour, and then realizing that the brakes don't work. My mind would race and race and race. I come up with the best ideas, plans, excitement. I talk fast to begin with because of where I grew up in the Northeast, you know. But when I was having a mania moment, oh my goodness, wow. I mean, it was crazy. I would talk super fast. I I look back at some of the videos of me during a mania moment, and I don't know how I didn't pass out from not taking a breath. I mean, it was crazy. I really wouldn't sleep much either. I'd lay in bed for like an hour, hour and a half, wake up, stay awake for another half an hour, try to go back to sleep, uh, get maybe 4 to 5 hours, if that, of good sleep, uh, usually less. And it really felt like I could take on the world anytime. Now, I'm not saying it from a confidence point, but from a delusion point. It really was kind of scary looking back. But here's the thing that a lot of people didn't understand, including my loved ones. Mania isn't just about being happy. It could be overwhelming, scary. It could be flippin' terrifying. Made bad judgments, not paying attention, got me in trouble here and there. I make impulsive decisions that I would sometimes later regret. Really felt like my brain was too loud. If you give me a second to explain that. It felt like I had all these ideas and thinkings and plans just pushing through, trying to push right through my frontal lobe, out my skull, out of the skin, and out into the world. It wasn't healthy, to put it lightly. But yeah, it really, it was a volume that was way too loud, and I couldn't find the volume or the off switch. And it's kind of scary. I remember many a times going out for cocktail or drink or karaoke or whatever with friends, and I wouldn't shut up For that, I am sorry to everyone I know. I have been doing that for years. Oh my goodness. I mean, I felt like I couldn't stop talking and making jokes. And I knew I was doing it. I knew I was going way too much. Like, I could look around and see them just going, "Are you done now? Please be done." But I would just keep going and going and going and going. And they were just trying to get out of there. They were trying to find a way out. But I wouldn't stop, so they couldn't. And it made it so awkward. And even though I was realizing I was going and going and going, I couldn't stop myself. I don't know why. I couldn't stop myself. And it's so embarrassing. It truly is, just knowing that it's like that. And then later on, it got even worse. Like, it would make you depressed because it was such a mess. It was just such a mess, just trying to, realize that I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. I just don't know why, but I couldn't just shut up. So, and it was like I couldn't even control my own speed of thought. I couldn't control the speed of my own mind, even though I was well aware of it. So it's kind of scary. And that is how I experience mania. Next part, we're going to go to the experience of depression, which isn't a happy subject, but it's also needed. So hang tight, and we'll get started on this next section, my experience with depression. Okay, my experience with depression phases. And you always hear about the mania and then the depression. I don't call it the depression. I call it the crash phase because it literally felt like a car crash to me. I've been in car accidents, most of us have, but it truly felt like a car crash. Going so fast, so hard, so long, and then wham, you hit a wall, and it is scary. It felt like someone finally turned the lights off in my brain. Getting out of bed got increasingly harder. Getting going even harder than that. And then you get the thoughts that you're worthless. No matter what you do, you're worthless. No matter what you try, you're worthless. Nothing matters on what you think. You're worthless. And it just keeps beating up at you. And it's not just feeling sad either. It really isn't. It's like carrying a weight on your chest for a long time. Like, you found it hard to breathe mentally and even physically. Like, I'd work out and I just feel so sluggish and worn out. I would go to jujitsu, just feel worn, beat up mentally, which unfortunately got me beat up physically because I did it at jujitsu. I'd lose interest in things I absolutely love, like jujitsu, and I felt disconnected with the world. It's hard to explain to people what it feels like if you've never gone through it, but it is very real and extremely exhausting. I mean, wowza, really exhausting, And I'll never forget the day when I really felt bad, and I kept thinking I either want to stop feeling down or just die. Now, I don't mean suicidal. I mean to the point where I just want to die so I can just chill. Like, hoping for a heart attack, hoping for a stroke, because I just wanted to stop. I wanted to rest. And, little insight on my personal life. I won't get too into it because I do love the anonymity and the privacy. I play drunk? No, I play drums. Golly, I'm drunk. I haven't had a cocktail in a while. But I play the drums most Sundays at my church. And it felt like every other Sunday, except for one thing. I felt really, really down. And unfortunately, I have a talent. I'm really good at hiding the fact that I am really broken and really down. All I wanted to do was sit, lay down, and sleep and do absolutely nothing inside. I didn't want to play drums. I didn't want to, go to church. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to go to the bathroom. Everything just became so much harder. And it was nuts because then I had a friend that same day. He saw me doing something. I probably coming out from my car. He's one of my neighbors, and I do jujitsu with him. And I'm very thankful at these little moments in my life because he asked, you haven't been to jujitsu in a while. And, while I was kind of pushing it away, and I came up with an excuse like that. And it was nuts. And that's when I started feeling, not liking the things I usually loved. And I would never call myself suicidal. I wouldn't call them, at least since the bipolar. But at the same time, I can also tell that it wasn't too far off. That's one of the scariest things I've seen in myself. I couldn't regulate my feelings in my own mind, whether it's happy, sad, excited, depressed. I couldn't control it. I couldn't control it at all. And that was the scariest thing. It truly is terrifying. And know that if you are going through bipolar, you're not alone. You're not alone in those thoughts. I've been dealing with that for years, and now it's finally got a name, and it's very, very refreshing. So, yeah, that's how I had my experiences with depression. Boy, that wasn't easy. Yeah, next we're going to be going about the roller coaster in between them. Okay, see you in a second. All right, guys, we're going to go over the WTF moments in between. Good times. Not really. It's one of the hardest parts about bipolar. Isn't just the highs and lows. It's those moments in between, and the shifting between them, between the mania phase and the depression phase. I mean, to the point where you could feel on top of the world, you can conquer anything. You're the smartest, sexiest, funniest person alive. Ha ha ha. And then the next minute you are being crushed by the weight of the world and it's just sitting on your chest. I wish it was on my shoulders, but it was always just pushing where I couldn't even catch a full breath. Sometimes you could see it coming. Like when I was talking to people, like I stated earlier, about how I might be going 100, 200 miles an hour, realizing there's no brakes in the car. But then the next, I go to bed, I wake up, and I could barely pull myself out of bed. And it's so unpredictable, And I'm trying to think of the best word to use. I guess not lone, isolating. Isolating is a good word. Thank you, thesaurus.com. No, it's it's very isolating because you can't really explain it to your family and friends, and it's extremely isolating, but you start to learn on your patterns and you start to recognize when you're going into one phase or the other. And that's a big help, is being able to recognize that. One of the biggest issues with it is it's not being, it's being not misdiagnosed. Like, it's not like you go in for a little pain in your toe and you think one guy says you pulled a ligament, and then you go to another doctor, like, no, you broke your toe. It's not like that. But it's being diagnosed for the wrong thing. For example, I was treated for PTSD, then depression, then more pills for OCD. Then like, oh, no, they're wrong, ADHD. And it went on and on and on and on and on. And it drove me to the point of near insanity. It really did. And it was really heartbreaking, to not feel normal and not know why. Even though I was being treated for all the symptoms, it wasn't the problem. And it was really heartbreaking. So the best thing I could tell you to do, because like I said, I'm not a clinician, I'm not a psychotherapist, I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist, nothing. I'm none of those things, and I'm not going to try to be any of those things on here. But I do have life experiences when it comes to this. I've been on this rock for 50 years spinning around. So I got a couple of days under my belt. The best advice I can give you is, if you think, you have bipolar, or if you're not sure, or even if you don't know, write your symptoms down and take them to your doctor. Write your symptoms down and go get checked out. What's the worst that could happen? Take that note. If it's something physical, obviously you're going to go to your primary care physician. But if it's mental, you can still go to that primary care doctor. You can go to a therapist. You can go to a psychiatrist. You can go to a psychologist. All those people can help you, and they can help you get the treatment that you need to get you going in the right direction. Instead of treating you for this, that, and the other thing, and you got a mouth full of pills, and you're wondering why you're hitting all the side effects that you hear on Hulu or Prime, in the commercials for these drug companies, go get it all checked out. I went from being on 4 pills to 1. And and here's a shocker, they work. Yeah, I know, shock. But yeah, it's a great way to get it done. So just do yourself the favor. Go get checked out with all of your symptoms. Don't just say one thing and then they try to blow you up. No, stand strong. Make sure they know that they need to look at all of them. So next, we're going to be going about how it impacted my daily life. And we'll get knee deep into that in a second. All right, hold tight. In my life, for years and years and years and years, I was always thinking, it's just who I am. I'm that spazzy guy. And then I'd make light of it, had to actually kind of just hope that through whatever I was going through mentally, it would work out, which were my mania and depression phases. Whether it be me just going 800 miles an hour, like I'm in a subsonic jet, just the ground just looks like a blur, and hopefully I don't miss anything, to the depression phase where it's like, I got to get out of bed. I gotta get out of bed. Ugh, I gotta do something. Oh, this sucks. Oh, every day is like a bad taste in your mouth. It was just tough, and do whatever I can to feel normal. And it made me feel stupid. Like, it truly did. Because I'd be talking to people that didn't have bipolar, and how they were able to plan their days and things like that. And it truly made me feel inferior and dumb. And it made me feel like I wasn't worthy of having a quote-unquote normal life. And my goodness, that beat me down more than anything. The worst critic you can have in your life is you, because you're the voice you should listen to. But unfortunately, most of the time, especially in the cynical society we live in worldwide now, where there's so many critics and not enough, people to pump us up, it wears on you. It wears on you a lot. So I'm not going to go any further into that, because now I like me. That's pretty cool. But I think back to when I was diagnosed. It helped me realize that it probably had a lot to do with like the bipolar, on why relationships ended. I never cheated or broke up with any of them. But dealing with someone like me is a lot. While I am so happy now with the relationship I'm in now, she's truly wonderful and understanding. I wonder what it could have been if they and I knew about our illness, like my past, people in my life. And my wife is truly amazing. She is my biggest cheerleader. Even when I don't want one, she still is. And she needs to be celebrated. She accepted the diagnosis even before I did. Like, when I found out I was diagnosed, I went downstairs and I was a blubbering mess. I was a 49-year-old snotting, sweating, drooling, crying mess. If you picture an emotional dumpster fire and you look up emotional dumpster fire on Wikipedia, it would have been me that day. But after I tell her that, she smiled. And this is where it's not G-rated, okay? Because I'm sitting there thinking, why is this bitch smiling at me right now? Like, I know I shouldn't say that word, and I would never say that to her. But I thought it. Ooh, boy, did I thought it. And let me tell you, I always love her. I didn't like her at that moment when she was smiling at me. Yeah, but I'm like, why are you smiling? See, at least I had enough sense to say, why are you smiling? Not, why are you smiling, bitch? Go make me a biscuit. It wasn't like that. And I'm very thankful for that, because I wouldn't be talking too highly of her right now, because she would not be here. But yeah, then she just smiled. She's, at least you know what's going on. And since then, she's really helped me stay on point and like going in the right direction with my life. She makes sure, she doesn't baby me. She's not sitting there, all right, take your meds. Here comes the airplane. She's not doing that. Okay, I'm an adult. I'm an adult male. And I don't need to be babied. But she checks in on me. Like, hey, how you feeling? How you doing? Things like that. And it truly means the world to me. She treats it like an illness, not a flippin' weakness. That is what I'm so extraordinarily happy for. I'm not a burden. I'm a husband. I'm not dead. I'm just sick. And I'm getting better. That means the world to someone like us. If you had someone with cancer and the outcome could be okay or it could be worse, and are you gonna really leave that person, or do you want to try and help them get better? If you really love that person, of course you want to help them get better. What's the difference between that and bipolar? All right. Next, we're going to be talking about, encouragement and like the way I can encourage myself and others, and having a real conversation, a real talk about it. So, see you on the in the next section. Okay, encouragement and real talk here. If you live with bipolar, you know these feelings, whether it be a mania or depression, can be absolutely flippin' brutal to you. They beat you up. And if you don't, I hope you're hearing this. You know, if you're not the one dealing with bipolar, someone in your family or friends are, that lets you look through the window into their lives, because it truly is hard. And I want to help both sides of this understand a few key points. One, this is not the end. This is the beginning. It's like a rebirth. You gotta look at it that way. If you have stage 1 cancer and you can beat it, are you gonna be like, oh God, just kill me now so I don't have to deal with this? Or are you gonna be like, let's beat this sucker. Let's beat it like it owes us money. That's the way you gotta look at this. Number 2, you're not alone. You're not alone. This vlog proves that you're not alone. Okay? It truly does. Because there are millions of people like me worldwide that didn't realize what they had. And once you do realize what you have, everything's good. Now, is every day sunshine and rainbows like the Lego movie? Everything is awesome? Absolutely not. But you learn how to deal with it, and it's awesome. It's awesome. The best way to describe it, the food has flavor again, the wine quenches my thirst, and the sun is shining down on me. That's what it feels like when you get a grasp on this stuff. Number 3, help is out there. Whether you have a job with great health insurance benefits or you have to go through your county health department, help is out there. You just gotta try. Even if you need to reach out to me, I'll find resources for you. I want to help because I couldn't help myself before because I didn't know what I had. It took one person saying, I need to talk to this person. And once I did talk to this person, it changed my life. I want to be able to be somewhere in that, way of life for you. Whether it be through this, contacting me personally, it's absolutely wonderful. And I'll put my email at the end of this episode. So this way you guys can get a hold of me if needed. And number 4, support can really mean everything to someone that has this. Okay? Like I said, I'm never going to put her on camera, but she knows who she is. She's done more for me than many people. And there's other people that I want to thank too. But I'm not going to do that here because they know how thankful I am. But I said it last episode, I'm going to say it again. This disorder does not define who I am or who you are. It's not one flipping bit, It's just part of my story. It's a chapter. It's not the whole book, not one bit. This is just another chapter in my book of life. Nothing else. And I'm learning to manage it. Every day I'm learning to manage it, to understand it, and how to keep going forward. Even when it's the hardest of hard days, I'm still able to go forward. So, yeah, just think of it like that. Okay? So, just know that there are people like you out there that want to help. I'm one of them. All right. 1, 3, 2, 1. Alrighty, animals and my mental health warriors like me. Thank you for joining me on the second episode of Bipolar Uncovered. I know this one was heavy and kind of dark, but it's important to talk about what it feels like and what it really feels like, not just what you think it feels like. So this way you can be more comfortable being open to your loved ones or asking your loved ones what it feels like to have bipolar. Next time, we're going to be talking about something that could really help all of us. Things, and definitely something that could be hard to do. How I personally recognize the signs of an episode coming on. Okay, so if anything I said resonated to you today, really clicked with you, drop a comment, share your story with me, or just know that you're not alone. And if you want to share your experiences with me, or if you want to be a part of this podcast, let me know. My email will be at the end of the show, on the very next slide, and I would love to hear from you. So do me a favor, drop a like and a subscribe so we can keep this thing going. And I appreciate and I love so many of you. Not all of you, because that would be creepy. No, I love all of you that are participating and looking at this just to try to help yourselves or your loved ones. And from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate it. So I'll see you next week. See you guys.